Welcome back, troops, to the latest edition of Sandwatch Live. Today we are going to take it's a first ever for us, as we're going to take a look at the Gentle Giant vintage line. As you see, we have the Gamorrean guard here. The folks at Gentle Giant were kind enough to supply our battle station with a couple of these figures. We had Greedo last week out in Kansas City, and he's already been raffled off, ready to ship, and he's going out the door Monday morning to the lucky winner. As you see here, Gentle Giant took the same thing from the folks at Kenner did. Back in the day, they used to show you all the new figures you were going to buy, and they did the exact same thing here with the numbering system, starting with R2 all the way up to Yoda, number 40. They've got the different Fets. I mean, they've done a great job expanding this line. I'm surprised it took us this long to get into it. I'm looking at the packaging here, and the only thing I see that's just noticeably different is the logo being over here. I think if it was centered, this card would be way too big. It's a giant size figure anyway, which we're going to put next to some of the other Gamorrean guards that were available prior to this. I'll be at Hasbro or another high-end collectible company, and we're going to see how it would look in your collection. So without further ado, troops, we're going to crack this joker open and get him in the nitty-gritty. Come on, man, let's check him out. Okay, troops, as we were opening up the 12-inch vintage Gamorrean guard, we noticed that it says ages 4 and up here on the vintage style figure from Kenner back in the day. The packaging on their figure says ages 14 and up, so it's good to see the gang at Gentle Giant having a lot of fun and having enough audacity to laugh at themselves, shall we say. But as you see, the left fist is balled up. You know, just same thing going on here to here. If you turn them around backwards, you'll see all the fat rolls are correct, troops. The fur, not a lot of detail, just as it was in the vintage figure. It's date stamped 1983 LFL. If you turn him on the side here, you see the same arm that would hold the weapon. You see his hands the exact same way, so it can accommodate the meat style cleaver or vibro axe for those troopers who really care the proper name of the weapon. But you see the divots going on in the blade. It's the same thing. You'll have to forgive me, I didn't feel like digging up the weapon, but I'm seeing the same battle scoring on the vibro axe as you see on the Kenner version. So once again, they got it down to the proper detail. There's only 4 points of articulation. His head does not move, just as the Kenner style. But as I mentioned, with the date stamps, they also have the correct date stamps with the 2012 LFL and 2012 Gentle Giant Limited. So again, they did a real good job transferring over, just as you remember him, only bigger. So if you wondered how he looked next to some of the other Gamorrean guards that might be in your Star Wars collection, here's the 2002 Saga version from Hasbro. A lot more detail going on, although this figure's much bigger. The paint job, I don't know. I guess they did okay with it, but for the time, a decent figure. However, the scale that it does seem to match up a little better with is the Sideshow Collectibles version. They match up a lot better, so this might look good in your display until Gentle Giant's willing to come along with a vintage style display for Jabba's palace to accommodate us. But they did a great job transferring it over, vintage style, just as you remember it, only bigger. The only thing I notice is that you do have some difficulty getting the weapon to hold in position there, but other than that, I think they did a great job on this figure. So overall, troops, I have to say, they got every detail, the stamps, even the little tiny text here on the card, the toenails, the gauntlets, the lazy eye. They got every detail from the vintage style into the new 12-inch style. just as you remember it, only bigger, just like advertised. What's cool about this scale is, you know, with a few quick turns of a twist tie, you can easily take the Gamorrean guard in and out of the package. So if you wanted to, you know, you decided you wanted to put him back in on his huge card back, you could do it. I like the unpunched thing they got going on. Again, every little detail that they did was just fantastic. They completely knocked this figure out of the park. I had a chance last weekend at Planet Comic-Con to hang out with one Steve Constantino. I had him autograph my tiny new scale Hasbro figure there, and it was nice to hang out with him and get a little more perspective on this character. You know, it was great. You know, fans could come up. If fans, Star Wars fans, nerds all alike could ask him, you know, was it hot in the costume and things like that, you know. So it's nice to see Steve and the gang at Coolwater, you know, they have him out there, and he and Corey D answering questions about what it was like to film Return of the Jedi. So that was awesome as well. But again, back to the figure and bringing up the battle station, how does all this coincide? We'll be giving this figure away at C2E2 last weekend here in April at McCormick Place. Come visit us at booth 1548. We'll be in the West Building. This will be one of our raffle prizes. We've got a great prize package we've assembled courtesy of our sponsors and affiliates, and we want you guys to make sure you come check us out, because that's the only way to win other than being in our premium membership program. Also, we want you troopers to be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and if you can, leave some positive comments in the box below. We love hearing from our fellow YouTubers. Until next time, I am Darth Spice. You, troopers, are still so very glad you're not. United we find. We're out of here.
The force is strong with sandtroopers.com. Indeed.